Anthony Nicodemo, a mob soldier, was recently given a 4-year suspended sentence and fined $10,000 for his involvement in the Borgata bookmaking operation. And the judge in the case, in sentencing him, basically said it was a bookmaking case, but not a mob case. Now, there are state police investigators and FBI agents who would argue the other side of that. And the key to all of that is a 13-minute tape that Nicodemo made talking on a wiretap.
Tone down a little bit. The people that we always talk about, they're going back and they're throwing their bait into the ocean and telling sharks things like, oh, this guy did this, boom, 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 boom. So what I'm saying to you is, tone it down a little.
The irony is he's telling the guy to tone down while he's acting like a cinematic gangster.
I'll give you an analogy. John Gotti's son can come up to you. Anybody, I don't give a f***ing Joe Velocity, it could be f***ing the guy from Chicago.
He doesn't care who comes to bother him. Send him to see me. Send him to Federal Street. Send him to my office. I don't care if it's John Gotti's son. I don't care if it's Carlo Gambino's son. You send him to see me.
So if anyone approaches you about anything, you come directly to 1246 Federal Street, first floor.
And then he goes on to talk about kind of an inside look at the economics of the mob, talking about the lions and the lambs and the sharks and who's trying to grab a piece of whose action.
When the lions got meat and the lambs got meat, everything's fine and dandy. When the lambs got meat and the lion's up here on the hill, he don't have nothing, what's going to happen, dude? Right, exactly.
The other interesting thing that came out of the Borgata investigation was information the FBI supplied to the state police, in which they identified Nicodemo as a soldier in the Legambi crime family and also identified him as the prime suspect in the murder of Johnny Gong's Casa Santo back in November of 2003. The fact that he's a made guy used to indicate you only become a made guy if you get involved in some kind of mob murder. And I think the state police and the FBI believe the Casa Santo murder was what earned Nicodemo his butt. None of that's been proven, that's just the allegation. But if you become a made guy, you certainly have got more clout and more status within the operation of the crime family. And the thing that the state police allege in this Borgata case is that Nicodemo was the mob's point man.
Any of them have a problem, stop or by to your friendly neighborhood realtor.
And that particular tape may surface again in some ongoing FBI investigation. So I don't think we've heard the last of the tape, although the Borgata case is pretty much wrapped up now. Next on Mob Scene, a federal crackdown on some of the city's biggest drug dealers, including the most violent cocaine trafficker in city history.